Ladies and gentlemen, I have finally returned. The Dungeon Tutor here for you once more to answer all of your questions about the role-playing game world, to show you new things and new developments in role-playing games, and to try to look good doing it. I hope to show you a lot of new things with this new wing of the Dungeon Tutor library, including all the new games that I've discovered, including how-tos, character creation, and a bit of insight here and there about what actually goes into gaming that might give you some new ideas, leaning on my perspective that I will share with you. I'm very happy to have you here and hope that we can have many great adventures together. So, if you're ready, I certainly am. Let's get into an episode of The Dungeon Tutor. Greetings, friends! I am the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome! Today is day 1 of RPGaDay 2026, and in the spirit of RPGaDay, which is to uplift the community, to try to entertain and add our own perspectives to the growing pile of people who love gaming and love to profess that love in a positive way, we're going to talk about every day now a single topic that is there for the purpose of, again, uplifting, entertaining, and inspiring people like ourselves who love the hobby, who are interested in gaming in general. And today I'm going to talk about number one topic, discipline. Now, discipline can go in a lot of ways, and here I'm holding a riding crop, which in some cases might be an implement of discipline, but that's not really what I'm focusing on. Today I want to talk about groups and in general, and the responsibility of players within that group. Now, role-playing games are a different form of medium than anything else. Take, for example, sports. If you are on a sports team and you are lucky enough to find yourself on a team, there are expectations that you are going to practice with the team. If you do not practice with the team, say you practice alone, or goodness, you don't ever practice, you are not only hurting yourself, you hurt the team, because the team can't rely on all of what you bring to the table. And in that case, you are denying the group your skills and cooperation, and that's unfortunate. The similarity to role-playing games is that there's a lot of the same feeling around that, but it goes yet beyond the point of actually having a place within the team and synergizing with the rest of your team in order to make the team prosperous, to give you a chance of winning, to overcome your opponent's opposition, whatever it is that you're doing. In a role-playing game, every person is kind of beholden to the group a certain measure of discipline, and that is the ability to make yourself available on a consistent basis. Different groups take this to different levels, but if you don't have that level of discipline to make sure that you are available to your group, you're going to find not only are they missing out on your skills, because there may be ways of overcoming your player's absence. You may have somebody play the character for them so that all those skills are still available to the group. You may decide that's not worth the effort if the character isn't that fundamental, and just have them wander away somewhere when the player isn't there, so that that character does not get a share of treasure or equipment or whatever. They didn't earn it, so they don't get it. This was something that was rather militantly enforced in groups that I've been in, and quite honestly, I see the logic behind it. But it's more than that. Role-playing games in general have evolved, but beyond the point of where you could compare them amply with sporting games. Football, for example, as I said, one person doesn't show up to practice, you have to find somebody to fill that role, and they're not getting the practice for what they need to do. Sure. If the event shows up and you have a game and one person is missing, you're doubly handicapping the group, because somebody's going to have to fill in your role, and they may not be as good at it as you were. If you have taken practice for that role, it's not a fair thing to the person who is going to have to take that spot, and it's not fair to the rest of the team because you're not available. So most athletic competitions, people will be there unless they are injured or sick, some reason for it. But discipline, knowing that it's important to arrive for events like that, in sporting games, that's not something that's often lacking. In role-playing games, though, that name game seems to permit a certain amount of laissez-faire attitude for some people for their games, especially when they're online or pickup games. And then maybe the attention to detail, maybe the demand for them being there, being present in the moment, isn't quite the same. And I'll just say, again, you are in much the same way denying people the same level of your skills, your talents, and what you bring to the table. Which also behooves you, as a player, when you are there at the game, to bring what you can bring to the table. Your enthusiasm, your participation, your insights, your forethought, elements like that. If you don't, say, show up exhausted and you're just kind of there, you roll your dice, but you don't add anything, you again denying your fellow players the advantage of having you. And I think these days it's a frustration a lot of gamers have when other people don't share their discipline in ensuring that they are there to their full capacity or as close to it as they can. It's a tough time. We're not always getting enough sleep and enough distractions out of our mind when we come to the game. I hear you. I understand you completely. But that kind of goodwill effort will make sure that you stay a vital part of the group, that you stay somebody important to the success of not only the adventure, making sure everybody gets through and the characters live and you prosper. I'm talking about making the game richer and more fulfilling and giving everybody a reason to keep coming back. And you may not think that's all that important, but I assure you, every player that is missing from a game because they couldn't commit, because they wouldn't commit, is unfortunate in the extreme for that group. And oftentimes, that may lead other people to wonder exactly what you do bring to the group. If it happens too often, well, you may soon find yourself asked not to continue. Perhaps your chair has been passed to someone else or something like that. It happens. So don't take games for granted. Have some discipline. Be that person that they can count on. And yes, things happen. It is truly just a game, but it's a game unlike anything else. If you miss a night in poker, the game goes on. If you miss a night to play Monopoly or Risk or anything else, the game can still continue. Role-playing games, miss one person in a group with a really narratively driven story, and it can be difficult. It can leave lots of loose ends dangling. I'm just saying, it's good to have discipline in role-playing groups. So that's my topic. It's something that not everybody considers, but I assure you, it can be very, very important. So, take it from the Dungeon Tutor. I love every single one of my players who comes game in and game out, gives me their best, gives the rest of the group their best, because that makes the game richer, and it makes people want to come back, because the story is alive. The story is being brought to life more every time by the blend of people who are involved. Not just the game master telling a hot story, not just their character because they love their character. It's a shard of their personality. It's they crafted it because they really want to see that story play out and they want to see them win. No, that's a big part of it, yes, but you, that other person sitting across the table from them, are also a big part of it. You're that person they can put their back to in a fight. You're that person that their character can talk to in character, perhaps, and get a little banter in and flesh out their characters and reveal some of that backstory of theirs and all those things and a million more. So, role-playing games. Incredibly fun. They are a wonderful pastime, but they do require an element of discipline. Discipline in life, discipline in planning, discipline in commitment to being there when you say you'll be there. That's my thought. You're very welcome to it. I hope you enjoy RPGaDay 2026, and stay tuned. There will be much, much more. This is the first day, and it is well disported. Until next time, my friends, I look forward to seeing you again, and I do hope to see you at the next video. If I do, I hope that you, in that time between now and then, get a chance to roll some dice, to play some games, to have some fun. But you stay safe out there. Until that next time, farewell.